Ooh, hello everyone. We are desperately trying to get everything rolling along. I've just sent a message to Dermot in the hopes that he has collected that and I'm going to just send it to him again just to be sure that he's received it. And I don't know. We'll have to see what happens as we go along. As with all things that are Facebook, I had problems getting on tonight, so I'm trying desperately to now get on contact with people as we go along so that I can get him back on again. So just give me a second, people. Isn't it wonderful what live TV can do? Yep, I'm on Facebook and I've sent him off a message, but I hope you can tell him that it's... you got his phone number? This is why it's so hard to get in contact with him. I've sent him I've sent him the thing and I'm needing to come on now. Yeah, and I get the same message you do. No. I understand that, but at this point I need some way of contacting him. I've sent him the thing and I'm just going to have to wait until he comes on to carry on. But I will go over last week's and hopefully he will get in touch with me as we go along. Yeah. No, just we'll see if it comes on. Hi, Deb. How are you? Going through all the normal alien bullshit of a night time, so we will get there. Don't worry. Hi, Carolyn. Lovely to see you in again. I'm Annette. I'm going to have to leave. I think I'll see you if I can go over last week's and see what happened. All right then. All good. In case you missed what happened last week, wonderful it was. We had burps and barps and farts and Christ knows what on last week. And since then, Dermot has said that he's put in a new modem into his area and that it'll all be fixed. And so what happened tonight, I couldn't get into Facebook to get onto him. So we started a little bit late. I'm not sure they'd be that desperate, honestly, Deb. Snatching him is probably one of the things that they don't want to do. So in the meantime, I'm going to see if we can just go over what we did last week. He mentioned something about George Soros. I haven't had a chance to check this out. But from what I understand, this is a person who is researching the works of Trump. And, yeah, thanks, Carolyn. That's wonderful. It's all a giggle, isn't it? Anything's possible. Yeah, I agree with you, Deb. George Soros was supposed to have written some gear on Donald Trump and what he's doing at the moment. And looking at things as they're going on at the moment, Trump is having a lot of trouble getting a lot of things that he would like to get through done. So we'll have to see over the next couple of weeks if he can pull it together enough to get some action from the Democrats and the Republicans to get some of this stuff through. Now, also, Dermot mentioned Agenda 21. Again, as I said, I haven't had a chance this week to sort of go searching for these things. But this is supposed to be an agenda which is coming about to reduce the population, whether that's through starvation, chemicals, or food additives. And believe me, the farmers, as in PHARMA, the pharmaceutical companies in America are pretty much cacking themselves at the moment because a couple of them have been put before the courts. One of the companies has had to fork out billions upon billions of dollars for chemicals that they're spreading around that are actually killing people, and they're not doing what they were meant to do, and they're not even designed for the general public. They're designed for people with cancer, but the company is still trying to get it out there. And another one is a pharmaceutical big knob who is being put in jail, I do believe, for false advertising, false commitments, and a whole pile of vagaries that he's done through the company, selling crap to, forcing doctors to sell his product when they're not needed, and it's just crazy. But at least a couple of them are have been given the what for, and they're picking up on it, and they're starting to do something about it. It's taken bloody long enough. As well as this, he mentioned DEW. I don't know if anybody's got information on that. It is the directed or directional energy weapons, supposedly coming from some of the, I don't want to call it alien tech. Let's say it's the unusual tech. And this is now coming to a point where, again, it's being used in reducing the population because it uses a very high frequency. So basically you can't hear it. It just vibrates the body in such a way that it makes you ill. So that's an interesting, lovely piece of work. Nice to know that it's out there and they can point these things at us and kill us just by looking at us sideways. Now, if anybody is out there in the replay or in the solid systems out there, Carolyn, you might know some of this. MS-13 gang, I'd never heard of it. And it came up in a couple of conversations over the last week, and I've had nothing to say about it because I haven't had a chance to research any of this. So there's that, and the RFID chips. Now, that's an interesting one. The RFID chips were supposed to go under the skin as a form of recognition for passports and going through airports. But thankfully, a lot of people saw that the RFID chip could be used to sort of keep track of where we were and what we were doing. And it's possible to affect memory with the RFID chip, and also to cause an electronic shock to the heart using the RFID chip, which could, of course, cause major problems for a person with pacemakers or a weak heart. An electric shock like that could turn you into somebody that's flat on the ground. So that's always a bit of a worry. But they're still trying to find ways of using the RFID chip. At the moment, the two that are coming up is one to be put into prisoners who are, well, thanks there, Deb, for letting me know that. Mind you, down here in the last few days, it's been so cold that freezing is not out of the question. We had a lovely day today at 23, I think, 23, 24, and I spent about an hour out there soaking up the sun. It was so bloody cold over the weekend. I forgot where I was and what I was doing. RFID chips, that's right. One of the things that they're talking about is putting it into prisoners so that they can keep track of where these prisoners are when they're released from jail. Good thing, bad thing, not sure. Again, if they don't like what you're doing, they just press the electronic shock and you ain't around anymore. Now, the other thing that they were trying to do was to put it in the feet of newborns. Now, how that works in the feet, I'm not sure. But the RFID chip is so small that it could quite easily move from there to anywhere in the body. So it's a bit of a question of the ultimate nature. That's interesting, Carolyn. I'm intrigued how LED lights are not good for us. How is that sort of possible? I would have thought they were very low wattage, and the light would be better than fluorescent light. So how is it that the LED is not good for us? Look, if you want to come on live and give us a rundown on that, I'd be intrigued on that one, and I can send you a guest link if you want. While you're making up your mind, I'll have a little bit of coffee, and then I will, here we go, causes headaches of all sorts and of stuff. These lights are in the streets of America. So you're talking about the street lights, I take it, or the house lights, the LED lights in the house? Because we use a few of them here. I know that when they were changing over to the yellow lights along a couple of the major roads, that they were putting in LED lights rather than, yeah, lovely. You send me some information. I'd love to know about that. We'll press this one. What's going on, Baldy?
I'm just setting up now, Roy.
That's all right, mate. You take your time. It was my fault to start with. I went onto Facebook and the wrong sign-in was there, and then I couldn't get back in again.
Oh shit!
Yes.
And I thought we weren't doing it, and then I thought, oh well, I've got time to do the dishes.
No, you don't anymore. We're 19 minutes into it. I got into it 10 minutes into it. So, well, I'll drop out, and when you're ready, just come on through, and I'll put you up in the main room. All right?
Okie doke.
Thank you very much, Squire.
All right, see ya. I don't know how to end this.
We'll figure that out. Excuse me a moment, people, while I tap in little numbers here and close up all the other stuff. There we go. Whoop, it's still up there. Close that off. Yep, there we go. Not now. Right, yeah, I'd like some info on that. Yeah, Karen, because that's sort of unusual. I didn't know that there was, I thought the idea of doing the LED lights was to prevent all these problems with the physical aspects. Good for you, and if the information's good, I'll probably change my own. So that's a bit scary on itself. Hopefully a few minutes we will see Dermot up and he can run over this stuff himself. What an interesting, oh, yeah, look, it seems that every week that we do this show, something popped up and the gremlins drop in, but I think it was my fault this time. Somehow we managed to sign out of Facebook and I couldn't get back into it, and then because this is linked to Facebook, I couldn't log into this, and before you know it, you're crying in your beer and you're doing everything you can think of to get in. You get frustrated, you get annoyed, you get angry, all the things you really don't want to do, but it becomes so bloody frustrating. And so even if we get Dermot up, we'll still probably only get our half hour instead of the full hour, but he says he's desperately trying to toll in now, so we'll see how we go. Now, the other week we had some interesting stuff going on with Dermot, and as I said, a lot of this stuff is somewhat unknown to me. But if anybody out there at any time has stuff that they would like to put forward for other people, or would like to discuss either through comments or coming on, you're quite welcome to put it up and let us have a look at it. What the Flux is all about, getting people some information, and how we can pass it around to people. Now, as I have said many's a time, please, if you're interested in this and you think somebody else you know would love to be hearing some of this stuff, please share it with your friends and family. Now, Dermot's just dropped in, so I'm going to bring him up when he's finished chewing his tea. He looks as if he's having a good gnaw on a biscuit or something on the other end, so we won't disturb him just yet. Now, if you have a question at any time during the broadcast, you are more than welcome to ask the question. And if you think there is something in the comments that you would like to expand upon, again, put it into a comment on there as we go along. Here we go. LED lights, a silent weapons assault. Boy, when you get a minute, it's on YouTube. Thank you very much, Carolyn. I will have a browse on that. And you watch. Dermot thought he'd be smart and have a second biscuit, but it's too late. He's on TV now. You got caught, didn't you? Damn. I'll let you have one plate. I wasn't going to let you have the second one.
Oh, you know me too well.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know we've sort of cut it short, and it's my fault tonight, and I apologise for that. There was a bit of a screw up. Now, DEW, the directional or directed energy weapons. What's all that about? You got something clear on that, or is that just a random statement?
Oh, that's not random at all. In fact, I have a friend who does reverse speech in Texas, who is targeted on a regular basis. Okay.
How are these weapons working?
It's through the 5G network, which is why we need to get rid of it, not put it in.
So is that why that woman in America is doing this big thing on 5G?
Absolutely. Because the 5G, when you have these new smart meters and the phone technology,
is everybody getting smart meters, or is that just some people?
Yes. Most people in the Western world will at some point get it. Yes. Yes, we will.
Right.
But the lady I'm talking about, I asked her a series of questions on just the targeting. And the reason I asked the questions is because I'm actually writing chapter 8 on just this very subject. And the targeting, correct.
Right.
And believe me, they killed her. They killed her husband, her father, and her grandfather with this weaponry. And they target her all the time.
Same thing that they were using on Good.
Corey Good.
Yeah.
They actually use it on a lot of people. But at varying degrees of, obviously. For someone like me, they do it just to annoy me or to interrupt me. Whereas with other people that are more with higher sensitive information that isn't in the public domain, these people are seriously targeted.
So you think Corey was one of those people that was seriously targeted?
I do indeed. Yes. Because he's part of the secret space, the secret space program, but he's part of the Earth Alliance. And what I'll do is I'll send a video where David Wilcock talks all about the different alliances that are taking control back from the controllers here on this planet as we speak. So LED is a different technology again. That's just LED lighting is not the DEW. Okay, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, Carolyn was kind enough to, while you were not on board, to mention that the LED lights, they cause headaches and all sorts of things with these, and they're in the streets in America. And I was having a conversation with Carol along the way while we were waiting for you to sort of come back in on the second one. And she was kind enough to put up a site where people can go on YouTube. LED lights, a silent weapons assault.
Yeah.
I mentioned to her that we've been when I was on the buses, the yellow lights that they used to have up, they used to have like a fluoro in at one point, and then they changed them over to LED lights. So I don't know whether they're still doing that, but if these things are no good for you, the more of them that are out there, the more damage it's got to be doing, doesn't it?
Well, you know those spiral lights that the government gave us here in South Australia?
Yeah, the little fluoro ones, 12 amp.
Well, you do realise that if one of them breaks in your hand, the whole house is contaminated, and you need like a spacesuit to clean the damn thing up.
What's in
it? Mercury.
I thought you weren't supposed to use mercury in those things.
Hello. Wakey.
Supposed to and doing is two different things, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You're not supposed to put toxic metal waste in toothpaste either, or the water supply, but they do, and have done for many, many years. It makes your teeth stronger. Don't you get it?
Yes.
No.
The more you have, the better. We have here, no, there's a German physicist talking about the LED lights at the moment. So that's good. Thanks, Carol. Appreciate that.
I'll have to research that one myself too.
I sent you a there you go. There's another one for you. Or in vaccines, you shouldn't be using that stuff in vaccines. Now, where was I? Talking about physicists and pharmacists and all the others. I sent you those links about the two mobs in America that have just been put through the ringer in America in the court cases.
Which two are you talking about?
There was one that was he went to court for collecting buku amounts of money falsely.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another one who was selling cancer drugs, getting doctors to prescribe his cancer drug for people, even though he knew that they weren't doing any good for the other people. So they've both been put on the side burner.
Well, all I can say there is that wait till people really find out what's going on with the pharmaceutical and drug industries.
Yeah,
it's not pretty stuff.
I'm trying to think of the one that does bloody Roundup.
Yes.
I can't think of the company, but Monsanto. They are going through a pile of stuff at the moment for some of the genetic work that they've done, and both in America and here, it's buggering up the crops because the genetic manipulation is causing changes to our organic crops.
Again, it's all part of Agenda 21.
Yeah, you mentioned this last week, and I never figured out what Agenda 20 is. That the reduce the population through intuitive means?
I wouldn't say intuitive means. I would say by any means possible.
I was trying to be polite.
Yeah, but I'm direct, and I tell it as it is.
No, that's good. That's good. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Have you noticed something, Roy?
Yeah, we're not getting click clacks and farts all over the place tonight, which is brilliant. That new modem must be working a deal.
Correct. I reckon they fried my last modem, and it will take them a while to get used to this IP address. But when they do, they'll probably fry that one as well.
I thought they'd been on board mine tonight. Everything was going fine until I tried to go on Facebook. You mentioned, is it George Soros?
Correct.
Is that SORROS?
Not double R.
Oh, we just got a blip in the screen.
Yeah, it could be.
Ooh.
Don't worry about that.
Okay. Can you give us any background on that one, George Soros? What's he do? What's he about?
He was one of the. Now let me get this right. There was an interview that he did in his younger years,
yeah,
and during the war. Oh, guess what? They don't want this out, do they?
They picked your ISP address very quickly.
Yeah, well, he ratted to the Nazis on his homeland people, and basically ostracized himself from his own people.
So was he a Jew?
And they were the one. Yes, and they were the ones that got killed. And he's a multi-billionaire, and he basically runs governments, organisations, and basically buys them off to do all sorts of things.
Another wonderful person from the Skull and Bones group. Lovely.
Correct.
Okay, well, let's move on to MS-13. What's that? Stop eating your biscuits. You've had tea.
They are an evil gang.
Are they around the world or just in one place?
They're in South America, but they've infiltrated in America.
So they've crossed the border.
They are so evil. They are so, yeah, but they did that long before Trump put these measures in. And they
like the Russians, they've got their sleepers out there.
They've been funded by Soros to cause havoc. Yes.
All right. I'm learning new stuff all the time. I haven't had much time this week to go chasing these things up. You mentioned them last week, but we only got about 8 minutes of program out, so I thought we better go over it again and see if we can explain a bit more. Okay, we only have one other item, which is the RFID chips. Now, I was saying before that there's a couple of new things that they're trying to do with the RFID, and one is to put it in with put them in criminals so they can keep track of them. And the second one I heard about was attempting to put RFID chips in babies' feet so that they have something in all newborns.
And eventually the whole population, so that if anyone protests, if anyone protests and they've got one of these chips in them, they can exterminate them there and then on the spot. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I got most of that. I was talking before you came on, and I said that the RFID chips that they're talking about are so small that even if they put it into a baby's foot, it could easily migrate anywhere in the body. And to me, the objective would be that eventually it would get to the brain and be stuck in one of those little ventricles. And that would be the ideal spot, so to speak, to just go, bump, thank you, aneurysm dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nano chip.
Have we got that far yet, honestly?
Yes, we have.
Where are they
It's not
being
in the
used?
public domain. It's not in the public domain, but it will be if they get their way.
So every time you get a vaccine, you get a nanochip.
Well, you see, that's because they can't get the population to get the chips, so they're forcing people to do vaccines, and they can put it in the vaccines. Correct.
So we should be cautious of a plague of some description, because they normally would throw out a plague once they've got a cure, and that's when you need the vaccine.
And also, they don't have to give you vaccines. They can actually spray it in the chemtrails so that you breathe it in. So they've got you cornered. They've got you cornered, basically.
I was hoping there was a chance for me, but you're just screwing up every possibility I've got. Thank you very much. You're a nice man not to know.
However, we are winning the battle, and it's a raging battle behind.
How are we winning the battles?
Well, how far down the rabbit hole do you really want to go, and which rabbit hole do you want to go down? Because
just pick a rabbit hole and let's go down.
A much bigger. Well, for those that don't believe in extraterrestrials, are going to have a massive shock when they find out that we're actually, not only are we under their control, but there's also our star families that are willing to help us eliminate these bad guys, because they've lived on for getting these evil bastards off the planet. So we are getting help.
Yeah, and we're not getting that much. We're getting a little bit of help tonight, but it's not much. We're starting to get crackles and pops again. Is there any way to broaden out on that subject? I mean, you've given like a tidbit. People who are, hang on, here we go. Carolyn has said they're looking into nanotechnology to help with cancer. Now, that would be one reason for using nanotechnology.
Yes, but I really get annoyed with the medical profession. They had the cure for cancer well over 100 years ago, and they're messing about with people's lives and people's money with that sort of technology when they've already got the cure. I've lost family members.
Is that for all cancer or just some cancers?
All cancer. And this is why I don't donate to cancer societies, because they've already got the cure. They've already got it.
So
and it's natural.
The question is, there's two questions. One, what is it? And number two, how do people go to their doctor and say, if you've got the cure for cancer, why aren't we using it?
And what was that last question?
Yeah, that's what I reckon. What's the answer? The question was, number one, if you go to your doctor and you say, look, there's supposed to be a cure for cancer and it's natural. Number two, why aren't we using the damn thing, and how do I get it?
Well, number one, you can't get it because they've made it illegal. Number two, the reason they've made it illegal is so they can make money out of you. Three, populate the world, so why would they have the cure? And four, the answer is hemp and cannabis oil. It's a natural product.
Yeah, but I know I'm going around in circles here, Dermot, but I want to be clear for the person who I'm trying desperately to be always the devil's advocate. A person who knows that they have cancer. Yep. Not everybody can take hemp oil. Even though it's a natural product, there are still people who cannot take hemp oil.
Well,
so it's not a cure for all cancers.
Well, I disagree, because I've known people who should have been dead by now and they've survived, and there's no sign of the cancer. And I know people today that have been given the few months to live, and they're finding it hard to actually access this stuff, and it annoys the crap out of me.
Well, hemp is becoming a better product now. It's easier to get hemp and hemp oil. It's still not easy, but it is easier.
There are other forms that you can take, like bicarbonate of soda and lemon, turmeric. All of these natural products will cure it, as well as hemp oil. But why? Look, the number one thing about cancer is, I'm trying to get this out without the interruptions.
Yeah.
The number one thing is, if your body is alkaline, the cancer will survive. If it won't survive, sorry. If your body's acidic, it will survive. So you have to get, whatever it is you take, it has to be alkaline. And that's the number one thing about cancer. Get your body as alkaline. Get your body with alkaline as...
Start again. Hear me? Start again.
Get your body alkaline, and it will not grow anymore. Whatever product, natural product you use.
You just managed to get that out. Your modem worked for the first 20 minutes. Jeez, it's crazy. I thought we were going to have a really good night tonight. They're starting to dig in, aren't they? Okay. So if they take turmeric and, oh, hang on. No, not always doing it. Sorry about my interruptions. I'll stop. No, look, don't stop, Carolyn. As I said before, if you have a belief, then you have the right to put it up there. We may well argue the point, but that's not the reason to stop you from doing that. If you have a question or a query or want something explained further, then that's what you do. You put it in the comments, and we'll do our best to try and go a bit further. A lot of this stuff that Dermot talks about, I have some trouble with, but I also have to look at it from the point of view of the average Joe that's in the street and wants to know more. If I don't know enough, then they don't know enough. And that's basically where it comes from.
I have a question.
Certainly.
No, not always to what? What have I got wrong?
I didn't say you got anything wrong. I just said that some of the
Caroline said no, not always. What to what?
Well, I think we were talking. I think we were talking about the hemp and how some people don't react well to those particular things. And we were also talking about turmeric and a couple of other products. And it might also be the alkaline acidic base that she was mentioning, that it's not always alkaline or acidic. Some people do recover. I'm a great believer in what you've said in the alkaline aspect, but I'm also a great believer in the fact that people, if they believe they're going to
Yes.
overcome this, they will. And it's the placebo effect. But even though their body may well be acidic, they have a strong belief that they can overcome it, and they do. It's one of those yes/no factors, isn't it?
It's all right saying the alkaline versus the acidic, and am I back? Yeah. It's all right. It's all right saying the alkaline versus the acidic, and also using the natural products. But like you say, it is all in the mind, and everything is all in the mind. No matter what you do in life.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's probably the most underlying thing in the whole of it. It's whether you have a strong belief in what you're doing, or what you're taking, or how it affects you. Yeah. We have slipped off a little bit into the psychological aspects, but did you want to take up something new? We've gone over what we mentioned last week. You were going to mention about the Australian history or something. What's that about?
The ancient. Where can I go? Where can I go with this?
Okay, give us a teaser for like 10 minutes, and we'll sort of take it up as a pre-leg to next week.
Okay. How much time have we got?
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. Did you know that Australia has a sacred site, that is far more important than Stonehenge in England?
You mentioned this on one of your parables before, and you're being cut off again.
I'm not surprised, because they probably know what I'm going to say.
Well, do try and get it out.
Okay. Well, behave yourself. Most in. Yeah. Okay. Where am I going with this?
What's the site?
Will not be public, because if it was public, it's already done that here in Australia in the 1950s, and they bulldozed the site. But what they didn't know was that the actual ground had been surveyed, and they have a list of where every stone goes, and they have the stone, and it's the one and only place that all indigenous tribes from around the world have sung to country, and are allowed to sing to country in another country, and do their own ley lines around the world. Okay, so it's one of the most sacred sites in the world, because the elders here believe that it is the starting place of humanity, and that's a whole new ball game, and to get being stopped and threatened time and time again.
That intrigues me, because the notion around the planet at the moment is that the population started in Africa somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
If we go back to what was it, Pangea? When it was Pangea, We're talking about the population there is starting. So it's quite possible that the area where like Africa and Australia sort of coalesced. So it wouldn't be surprising to say that one tribe in Africa would represent one tribe of Aboriginals.
This planet was seeded about 3 or 4 different times in different periods. Okay.
Wow. Wow.
And,
okay.
Okay. That's number one off the bat, so we don't get mistaken as humanity. Okay?
Okay.
Because it's not. It's not. That's the big misinterpretation. They've had scientists do I don't know how to pronounce this, but I have trouble pronouncing this. It's called mitochondrial DNA test.
Yes.
Of literally hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and the only race of people that doesn't fit with world history is the original people in Australia, the Aborigines. Everything else can link up. So there's a huge story on that just alone. I mean, Steve, 4-hour talk on just that. So,
Steve, we lost you after Steve. What come after Steve?
My good friend Stephen Strong from ForgottenOrigins.com.au.
Okay.
I'll put another link on here for people again, because there's a lot of information. And
they're seriously testing your patience, aren't they?
And I'm catching up with those guys in February in Melbourne, so I'll be getting the latest about the elongated skulls, which are not human. There you go. Exclusive.
Lovely. Egyptian or Mayan?
Said not human.
Yeah, but the two areas where elongated skulls were prevalent was Egypt and the Mayan Peninsula. So we are talking alien crossover in those areas, or both? Well,
the elongated skulls that were found around the world are different to the elongated skulls here. Okay?
Here?
For a start, here, yeah. We have them here in Australia. They discovered them last year. And to back this up, they also measured all the bones and the arms. What I'll do, Roy, is I'll see if I can fish out the video where Stephen is actually explaining all this. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. We still haven't got around to testing Zoom out to see whether we can record and put it up as an option at some point. I know you work late, and this week I'm chopped to the brain, so we really should be.
Next year?
Yeah. We'll try and set something up so that we can.
Next year.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, Roy, is because leading up to Christmas, warehousing is very, very busy.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I know you've got enough on your plate at the moment. That's why I'm not pushing anything in that area. But if you've got some time somewhere along the line and you know it's coming up, just sort of give me a bell or something, and we'll try and work a time and at least see if Zoom makes a difference.
Yeah. for sure.
Now,
Well, I
if
would have
anybody is
thought this
watching
new
this
modem-
in replay, you're more than welcome to leave comments, and I'm sure that Dermot will do his utmost to answer those comments either through text message or whatever. But please do send in comments, questions, or any of that for Dermot.
Gee, that was short and sweet, wasn't it?
I like
Am I
to sit
still
here
on?
sometimes and not move, so that it looks as if I'm frozen. Oh, God, it's cruel, isn't it?
If only I had a bit of nanotechnology. Ba-doom!
Oh, no. Keep your nanotechnology to yourself, all right? Keep yourself. Okay, you got 2 minutes. Finish off. I'll leave you to finish off. How's that?
Ah, dear. Okay. Sorry I was late today, and even with the new modem, oh my. Did not even let me finish. Even with a new modem, I still get interrupted. What the hell?
Not as bad as last
dear.
week, though.
No. But yeah, look, I'm actually writing my second book, and I talk about the secret space program, ancient Australia, the directed energy weaponry, and lots and lots of other things too. Antarctica and what's down there, and yeah, you name it. There's a lot of stuff that we just don't hear about. But at some point in time in our history, we'll need to know about this, because it is going to be exposed. And we'll leave it with you and say good night for now, and see you next time.